everyone. Welcome to another episode of the QubicaAMF Tech Tip Podcast. This is a weekly podcast where we take you on a journey through the fascinating world of bowling technology and beyond. As always, I'm your host, Orly, and I have a very special guest on today. We have John Kilpatrick on the show. And John, let me give a little quick background on how I came across John. I had never met John, but we were on a meeting just a while back, and John was presenting, and he is like me. He is a talker, and he wears the coolest shirts and just caught my attention. And I'm like, Dottie, I need to get this guy on the show. He is a talker. Some people might be offended if they get called a talker, but he's a good talker. He knows how to word things. He's great at, sharing things. And I'm like, perfect guest for Tech Tip. So John, welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you, Orly. I'm happy to be here. And the topic we're going to be talking about today is one near and dear to my heart, because not only do I work with Qubica as a max training specialist, which is when I go into centers and help people, get the best out of Conquer in their bowling centers. I'm also a center owner and operator too myself. So a lot of this stuff that I'm going to talk about is going to be very day-to-day practical use for the center. So I'm really excited to be here and share.
Yeah, thanks again for being here. And like I always tell people, make sure to share this show, let your staff know about it, your management know about it, because it's so much knowledge that we have, and we have some great people coming on to share, where sometimes people are looking for help, or, maybe they don't have the time to call in, and this is just a perfect way to listen on your own time, find out some great stuff, and just to overall help your center. So, you already explained what you do with the company. So, John, today what we kind of wanted to talk about and have you explain is, like advertising, when it comes to,
Yes.
online advertising, whether it's advertising something maybe during leagues, advertising something just as people are walking by, what they're seeing on your screens when no one is bowling. So can you kind of go into that and let people know how they can do this? And before I forget, John's also going to join the Seeds of Success show with Dottie and myself on Thursday to kind of go into more detail about how this can, help in your center. I'm sure he'll give a little background today, but he's going to go a little bit deeper into that on Thursday. So make sure to check that show out also. And today he's going to go into more on how you can set this up. So John, I'll kind of let you take over the floor and explain what you need to explain.
All right. Certainly. Thank you, Orly. So for those of y'all who are listening at home, working with advertising, there may be a few steps here. So if you can, why don't you, if you can get in front of Conquer, and as I read things, as I go through here, if you guys can follow along, that'd be great. If not, I'll when we get towards the end, I'll tell you kind of within Conquer where you can go find some more information about how to set up advertising and how to use it. So one of the first things we're going to do is if you're in front of Conquer, we're going to click on Front Desk, and on the second menu, you'll see where it says Lane Features. And you'll see BES X advertising and Lane On advertising. The setup of either of these advertising is the same. The issue is how they're used. The standard BES X advertising is where you create your advertising playlist, what pictures you want to use. You can even import .mov files. So you can import, you can make a PowerPoint, turn it into a movie, and display it on your overheads. There's a lot of use here. There's also in the advertising kits that are available through QPortal. There's movies available that you can download, and you can display those movies on your advertising. So when you set one up just in basic BES X advertising, that's what's going to be playing on the lanes when your lanes are off. So you'll have your images, hopefully some food items displaying. The second one, the one next to it, Lane On advertising, is when you have people in the bowling center bowling, and you can determine if this appears for leagues, if it appears for open play, things like that. But this is what people see when they're bowling. These are going to be slides only. You will not display the movie files, and you get to determine how often the ad pops up, how long it stays on the screen, and kind of what you build the list of what you want to have in there. So two separate uses, but they use the same setup. So what we're going to do is we're going to just go click on BES X advertising. Starting from the top, you'll see playlists. There you may have a few playlists. You may have just one playlist on there that just has pictures of the different Conquer environments. If you want to make a new one, there's a plus sign in the top right. If you click it, you can name it whatever you want. This one, I'm just going to call this one New Advertising. And when you come in here, you can select on the left-hand side, you'll be able to see where there's pictures that are already there. And you can pick which ones you want to use. If you want to have more, though, and the real secret is you want to have things that are customized for your center, is at the bottom of the page, underneath all the pictures that are in the available images, there's another plus sign. If you click on that, it's going to pull up where you can pick what documents you want to use. So for today, I downloaded a pin splash, which is just a picture of a ball hitting some bowling pins. You just go to the file that's in. Hopefully, if you're doing your design on another computer, you can just get a USB, plug it into your Conquer computer, go to that USB, and pick what files you want to use. When you're done, you just hit Open. It brings that file into Conquer, and you can click on it, hit the button that says Insert, and you now have added that picture to this new playlist. Again, I know that we're kind of talking our way through this, but that's kind of as simple as you can get it. When it comes down to what you're going to have in there, you really want to make sure that hopefully you have somebody who either you're creative or you have somebody who's creative in your center to help put together an idea. So, for example, one best practice I've seen, some centers will actually build a slide for each of their upcoming leagues in their upcoming season, whether it be fall, winter, or summer. It's something to just, short, that has a good look to it, that has a brief description. So, for example, like maybe, hey, it's our Monday, the high flying seniors. And you can list on there, hey, there's 4 people on a team. It's going to bowl for 30, 32, 36 weeks, whatever amount of time you want to go with. And that it's, I don't know, $12 a bowl in a week. Maybe you give your seniors a break. Maybe it's 10. Maybe it's more. I don't know. But it's really about just trying to get something designed that looks really easy, really nice. If you don't have that person, which I know I'm not that person, I'm not that creative person. You do have some tools available. One, you could maybe go look at Fiverr to have somebody help you come up with a design and get you the file that you need. And also there's ChatGPT, which does images as well. So you could you could potentially go to ChatGPT, tell it, I want to make a flyer for a bowling league, give it all the details, and it will actually generate a picture for you. Now, you might have to subscribe to the premium ChatGPT if you're going to be doing a lot of flyers at one time. But I have seen that used successfully as well. It's just one of those great new tools that's available out there for centers to use.
Yeah, I'm going to jump in real quick, John. One thing, and I don't know if you're going to get to this, but one thing I noticed with centers sometimes, and just want to throw this out there, was make sure also that your aspect ratios are correct. Because I've been in the centers and they have some wording saying like new league starting this week, but half of it's cut off or it's going off the screen, And another one is that you're updating these correctly. Because I've been, again, into centers where, hey, don't forget our Christmas specials are up and it's February.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? And there's nothing worse than that. So, I know at our center, what I used to have, like a bucket special on there, or patios now open and had like a picture of the, our fire pit out there. It looked really nice. So there's plenty of things you could use up there, but make sure you're updating those. And you just don't want them to get stale also.
Also, speaking of the aspect ratios, so when you're in the BES X advertising window, there is a question mark with a circle at the top. When you click on that, what that'll do is it will bring you to the Conquer user manual. And when you're in the BES X advertising window, it will actually have the required formats and sizes that you need to have to display. So and also what kind of file types you can use. So for the slides and videos, the ratio should be 1280 by 720 for the size of the image or the video. And with the pictures, you can pretty much use anything so long as it's not like a PDF. So that's something else to keep in mind too. Is as long as it's an image file, so JPEG, GIF, or even PNGs. PNGs are really nice too. The image is there. The background is usually just like a matte black for it, so it has an impact pop out image. But you can use those, and again, you get there by just hitting the big question mark that's in the top right next to the red X that closes the module. And like I said, it'll have all your images. So even if you're working with a company that does some of your marketing or puts together some information there, you can send this over as, these are the guidelines that we need to have for the images. Or like I said, if you're working with somebody on Fiverr and the like. I don't know if you can put in commands in ChatGPT for file type or size, and that might be something I try out after the call here.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I haven't messed with that yet.
But yeah. So again, setting up the playlists are pretty easy. It just takes a little time, a little bit of practice. You do want to make sure if you're putting something in here image-wise that you're going to use for advertising, you do want to make sure that it doesn't have any watermarks on it. So, like if you find a picture you really like, oh man, this looks just like our hamburger. It looks so good. And then you download the picture and you go to put it into a slide, and it's got watermarks where it says, some company's name who owns the art for it. Don't want to use that one. You want to make sure that you're searching for royalty-free or open source art when you're putting something together yourself.
And we've did a past show on, photos, and we've always said it's always best to use your own photos because, no one wants to get a burger and be like, this doesn't look like the picture that was on your, your advertisement. So yeah, if you try to take your own photos, that makes a huge difference.
So if you're going to go that route, just a quick suggestion is Amazon has green screen light boxes. Sounds fancy, but essentially it's just a big box that's green inside. And with it having the green color inside, when it comes time to take your picture, you can really edit out small details. It helps with transferring it into a new art file. And it could be just the item rather than, the desk and the bowling center or whatever's behind it when you take it naturally. It really can make your internal advertising pop, and they're not very expensive. They're not very expensive at all. Like I said, as far as the BES X advertising, again, I think that's just about got it covered. I know I put it in there as kind of went through it a little bit fast. It may be intimidating when you sit down and start giving it a try. Definitely can increase revenue inside the center, especially if you've got food and beverage advertising in here. It can help draw interest in the leagues because, as you know, the throughput through the center, you always got people coming in, and if they see something, it may catch their interest a lot more than just having a flyer at the desk. All right, the next one we mentioned, since we're done with we've created our advertising playlist. The next one that we were going to talk about is the lane-on advertising. So lane-on advertising is when people are bowling in your center, it is going to be, what do you want to show them while they're bowling? So this one is image only. You can't have any movie files or animation on this. It's just going to be the slides. And to make it, you just click on lane-on advertising. It's right next to BES X advertising. And this one's pretty simple. You choose what playlist that you want to display. It'll have a drop down. So you'll see, like I had the new advertising I made earlier. You select how long do you want the picture to display in seconds. It comes default at about 5. 5 is kind of fast. It's going to kind of pop up for 5 seconds and then go away. I usually recommend about 8 seconds because it's just long enough that it's not too long. Like if 5 seconds pops up, it goes up, goes away. 10 seconds, if somebody wants to see their score, 10 seconds feels like a long time. But 8 seconds really kind of gets you into a sweet spot there. And then the last one is frequency. How often do you want the advertisements to display? How often do you want them to pop up while people are bowling? This is in seconds. So you can think of it as, if you wanted it to pop up every minute, which is very, very frequent, I don't recommend do that, but you type in 60 seconds. I have got mine set up for 400 seconds, which I believe is, what is that? That is about every, no, that ain't right. 400 seconds.
We're also doing math lessons today, so
exactly.
That's a free feature you get today.
Yeah, but that's basically every. This particular one, I think, is set up when last time we used it was for a fundraiser, and essentially it was popping up every 5 minutes, so that the fundraiser, they had sold some ads for the online advertising, and it was to make sure that each of the ads got shown twice during their 2-hour event. So you can kind of pick what you feel comfortable with for you and your center. Whether it's, you want to have it appear every 5 minutes, every 10 minutes, every 15 minutes. You figure your average customer is in the center from 1 hour to 2 hours. So you just kind of say, okay, how often do I want this to pop up? If you say, hey, I want this to be every 10 minutes, that'd be 600 seconds. And that would mean they'd be shown 12 ads while they're bowling. And I guarantee if you do food and beverage, it's going to help get those sales up a little bit too.
Yeah. Well, John, I appreciate you coming on today. And, this is going to help a lot of people. I know some people know this stuff, like they're so used to doing it. It's easy for them. And there's others that, maybe they're new to the center, maybe they're new to the industry. And, they get so much information when they get trained. They kind of forget and just go with the bait, like, oh, this is how I started a lane. And they forget these other things that they can do. There's so many things you could do within Conquer that sometimes people forget, or they just might not know how to use it. And that's what makes this show great. They can come back on. And like you said, this is going to make a huge difference, whether it's, food and beverage they're throwing up there or some kind of advertising. Like, this could really make a difference in their center for them, their staff, and just for, people in their community, like as far as advertising. So I do appreciate you coming on the show, John. And again, we're going to have John on the Seeds of Success podcast on Thursday. So make sure you're searching for that podcast. Again, just like Tech Tip podcast, it's on all platforms. Again, John, thank you. I appreciate you taking the time.
My pleasure, Orly. I'm happy to be here and happy to talk again tomorrow, too.
Sounds good. We will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Bye.